Fabulous. Should we get going? Should we do it?
Yep, sounds good.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. This workshop on beginner to winner, the simple steps to master personalization. Now, personalization is a little like loyalty. Everyone talks about it, but we all have a completely different take on what it truly means and how it can affect your business. So what we aim to do today is to understand where you are along the personalization curve and give you the tactics to move to the next level. So as some introductions, I'm Vicky Beech, Partner Manager here at freshrelevance. I work with our partner ecosystem to help brands use the best tech and agencies in the industry. And this is Kleon West.
Hi everyone, I'm Kleon. I'm the Commercial Director at Endless Gain, and I work with our clients to help them on onboarding and optimization strategy.
Fabulous. So as a bit of an agenda for what we're going to go over today, a bit of an introduction, then I will go into the beginner to winner steps to master personalization. Then Kleon will take us through building personalized experiences for e-commerce success. And then at the end, we've got some time for questions. So keep them noted down. Before we get going, we wanted to share with you how we, as Endless Gain and Fresh Relevance, are actually working together to help brands achieve their personalization goals. So using Endless Gain's biometrics and consumer psychology in combination with Fresh Relevance personalization and optimization platform, brands can maximize their customer experience based on complex and in-depth consumer data and tools. That was a bit of a mouthful, but yeah, used in conjunction across our joint clients, brands are really taking their digital experience to the next level. So let's jump into it. What I'm going to cover today, why personalization is important, the 3 stages of personalization, and then some action points to take away today. So, increasing customer expectations. We all know the phrase, the customer is always right. And with online, they are. They can take their money wherever they want with no barriers if they have a bad experience. So, treating each customer individually and how they want to be treated is more important than ever. Now, we've all experienced the e-commerce boom over the last 12 months with lockdowns, travel bans that have forced consumers online. And it's also forced large retailers to sell direct to consumer for the very first time, which has massively increased competition within the space. Without mentioning the name, Amazon being 40% of the European market, for brands to compete on a level playing field, it's really important for companies to invest in technology. So enhance their logistics, seamlessly combine their offline assets, and enhance their front end experience. So the learnings from this year is we need to listen to that consumer behavior and listen to how audiences want to be engaged with, to help create a more real life experience to make them feel like they're walking through the aisles of a shop. So as for some stats to back up how customers now expect a personalized experience. So 59% of customers say that personalization influences their shopping decision. 70% of consumers have chosen, recommended, or paid more for a brand that provides a personalized experience. And over 78% of consumers will only engage in offers that have been personalized to them. So the message is clear. The customer is aware of personalization these days and actually value brands that achieve this for them. So what is it? Before we go into the tactics, what is personalization? The ultimate goal is to offer each customer experience that is unique to them. So allowing them to navigate the experience how they would prefer and helping them achieve their goals at each stage of the journey. And it's important not only to engage new shoppers, but to also increase the repeat purchases of people that have bought before. Now, how do we do this? The golden question. I'm going to walk you through 3 stages across the personalization curve. But before we do that, it's essential to think about the data you have to personalize the experience. It's imperative to utilize a combination of data sets. So looking at previous actions, live browsing behavior, purchase history, demographics, offline data, and anything else in between. The more data you have, if you plug it into an engine that can house all this data, you can do something really magical with it. So let's go into the Fresh Relevance personalization curve. So what I'm going to cover today is level 1, identifying more shoppers, level 2 in the discovery phase, and level 3 customer centric. So what is actually under all 3 of these particular tactics? So identify phase, we're going to talk about the different dynamic content types you can use, such as banners, recommendations, triggered emails, such as cart and browse abandonment, and then some other content types. In the discovery phase, we're taking up another notch. So using social proof and ratings and reviews, some more advanced triggers such as price drop and back in stock, using contextual, so someone's location or weather. And then really where we want to aim to be, using some custom behavioral triggers to offer that end-to-end personalized content experience. So if you're starting out on the personalization journey, what should you be doing from day one to help maximize conversions for your shoppers? What I'm going to take you through now is all these different tactics. So banners, using data capture, some recommendation triggers, and coupon codes. So let's start at the very beginning, capturing customer data. Having well-timed popovers that you can customize quickly can reduce your bounce rates and incentivize shoppers to leave their email address. So let's go through these four things here. So timing, no one likes to be interrupted. A popover that seems to appear for no apparent reason could cause a customer to leave the site and make them feel disgruntled. So that's where behavior comes in to time it properly. And then context. The best way to get the timing right is to serve popovers in response to behavior. So considers a shopper's interests, life cycle stage, the place they are in the buying journey. Thirdly, content. Don't let design be an afterthought. To maximize engagement, include a compelling call to action, clearly show the value of the offering. So this is an example from Killstar. It's a fashion brand, and this is totally on brand for the type of shoppers that they attract. And it's really enticing and it looks really nice for that particular brand. And then lastly, test. Ensure your popovers are doing a good job for your particular shoppers. Everyone from luxury or fast fashion, very different shoppers react very differently. So test the timing, the context and the content to make sure that you're getting the most signups. Now on to banners. So the hero banner is often the first thing a visitor sees when they arrive at your store. Think of it as a headline of a website. Visitors actually make an impression of your website within 50 milliseconds. So you need to instantly convey why they should stick around and shop with you guys. So if you think of two people, new shoppers, what can you show them? Show them your top selling categories or your legacy brands. However, if returning shoppers, tailor those banners based on interests and their top browsed category. Now onto some coupons. So coupons shouldn't be shown to every shopper. If you don't know that shopper, they actually could have bought full price. So using what we know about them on site, we can tailor who sees coupons. So this is an example of showing a coupon to an unidentified user. However, returning customers might not see this. So run A/B tests. For new shoppers, run an A/B test of 50% that see it, 50% don't, and see how it affects their purchasing behavior. For returning segments, if you're pushing certain categories, use browsing data for people that have browsed that category and serve them a coupon, whereas other shoppers do not. And now onto the trigger side of things. Easiest way to increase conversions and therefore see an increase in sales is using triggered emails. So acting on when someone has put something in your cart. Really nice example here from Markwins, a US cosmetics company. So this was triggered moments after abandoning a product on their website. We recommend anywhere between the 30-minute mark, but again, test this to make sure it's relevant to your customer base. And this is actually a two-stage abandonment email. So the first one is sent 30 minutes and the next one is sent a day later. So really great tactic to see how your customers respond. And then lastly, in the basic section, browse abandonment. So this is when a shopper visits your site and takes a look around, but leaves without actually adding something to their cart or making a purchase. So it's a little bit earlier in the decision journey than cart abandonment, but it's making sure you capture when people are actively looking. So whereas cart abandonment is more focused on the particular product, browse abandonment can be used as a catalogue. You can just show the particular category they were looking in, include relevant recommendations. So show browse products, similar items, popular items, increasing your chances of them finding something that is relevant for them. And finish strong with a clear call to action, so bringing them back to the website. So now we've explored some basic tactics. It's now time to look at the intermediate tactics of phase 2. So what I'm going to cover is triggered email personalization, some more advanced triggered emails such as back in stock and price drop, leveraging ratings and reviews and social proof, and then some contextual content using someone's location and weather. So triggered emails with some more personalized content in it. So triggers don't need to only include the product that has been browsed or carted. Make this email really impactful with more dynamic content that is relevant to their browsing behavior. It's a really nice example from Viavet. So based on the pet you purchase from or you browse from, the relevant specific banner at the top, relevant blog posts would change. So this is a dog owner, so it's related blog posts to dogs. Then there's also some more specific relevant banner content and some recommendations at the bottom. So there's 4 bits of content here that are automatically changing based on that particular shopper's affiliation to a pet. And putting dynamic content in triggers has seen an extra 5% uplift for clients. So some really big gains to be made. And as a comparison, the dog is on the left, and then a horse owner or a horse buyer would be on the right. And then again, it doesn't have to just be recommendations and banners and triggers. We can put countdown timers. Really nice way of increasing urgency, showing that they need to order this by 3 p.m. if they want to get it on next day delivery. So using a countdown timer to push that shopper along. And then as for some advanced triggers, the price drop alert, out of the box advanced triggers where they alert a customer when a product they browsed has since dropped in price. Really great way of recovering sales, but also boosting loyalty by providing your customers with an easy, helpful service to remind them when or show them when something has dropped in price that they were looking at. Really great tactic to use for bargain hunters or people that are frequently browsing but not potentially buying anything. Inform them when their favorite product has dropped outside of a normal sale. And back in stock triggers works just the same. So informing shoppers when they were looking at a product that was out of stock at the time. Really clear with the price it was and what it is now, so they know they're getting a good deal. Bulk email marketing. So BAU emails and newsletters don't need to be batch and blast and unpersonalized. It's another example from Viavet that show category-based recommendations in the personal picks of the template. So a different bit of dynamic content can be shown depending on the shopper's place in the buying journey, their preferences, life cycle stage, weather forecast, or a combination of all these, whatever would be relatable to your shoppers. And then as for some recommendations, so recommendations I'm sure you're all using are a well-known use tactic. So combination of AI, crowdsourced, individual to each shopper. But a nice use case here is Space NK showcase new arrival products in their categories. So recommending your newest products builds excitement around the shopping experience and is particularly impactful for fast moving trends such as fashion and beauty. In this example, this would be a new in Rex for someone that hasn't shown an affiliation to a category. However, for returning customers that have highlighted that my top category is fragrances, these new in recommendations could be filtered to fragrances to show me that's more relevant to me than across all categories. And let's take recommendations to the next level by using ratings and reviews. So if you are using a review provider, make it easy for your shoppers to see the top rated products by pulling through these reviews when you're showing recommendation. So we integrate with all the leading ratings and reviews providers to make it easy for retailers to do this. So whether you're using a provider or an in-house solution, we pull it through in real time to make sure it's the most recent in-date reviews. And what's really nice and a very well used tactic actually is using review data to filter recommendations. So you can either do it by star rating or review count. So for example, you can only show recommendations that have star rating of 5 and above and a review count of 10. So you're showing your top rated products wherever you want to put it in a newsletter or on the homepage to show that you want to be showing the best products. And then another social proof tactic is popularity messaging. Really great way of increasing urgency and showing the real heartbeat of the website. So here, American Golf use it on their PDP pages to show how many people are looking at a product right now. So 27 people are looking right now at these particular trainers. And this tactic isn't exclusive to web. It works really nicely in email as well. So AnyMed Direct here use this in their emails alongside their recommendations to make customers feel like they need to act quick and go back to the website. And then lastly, for the intermediate level, location-based dynamic content. So using someone's location or the weather where they are, let's change the content they see. So when the shops finally open up again, if they ever do, people will still want to go back and look at products that they want to buy, look at them before they buy them. So connect that online and offline journey, encourage shoppers to visit stores by displaying store details, inversion of maps, and opening times. Now, on the left-hand side, pavers actually take this a step further and recommend products that are nearby to their nearest store. So showing products in-store availability, pushing shoppers to the store to see their products. And on the right-hand side is an example of weather. So if your product does tend to that way, push using someone's IP address or their contact information, showing them relevant content if it's raining, if it's sunny, to push different product lines. So we're on to the third section. So we've covered the basic steps and some more intermediate tactics, and now it's time to push the boundaries even further. So what do we mean by advance? What do we mean by custom triggers, person history rules, and person record rules? At this stage, predictive intelligence combined with what we know about the consumers drives personal experiences at scale. And when done successfully, can really, really transform a brand's experience. So think of this as predictive personalization, automating messages based on the customer's future behavior, what we can predict they're going to do next, and optimizing the journey to make sure they get there. And when we can anticipate this communication, if they're going to purchase, how much they're going to spend, if they're risk opting out, you can personalize the content, the calls to action, and even discounts to make sure that we're optimizing the revenue of every communication for that shopper. And at this stage, brands can see an average of 20% uplift in consumer and customer lifetime value, which can be really transformative for brands when done right. So let's start off with the welcome messages using different popovers. So in this example, you can see famous outfits start the customer journey with a welcome popover, tailored to the visitor's referring traffic source. So just because you don't have any browsing or behavioral data to go by, doesn't mean you don't you can't give that customer a personalized experience. So this works just the same if a customer comes from Instagram or Facebook. You can tailor the landing page or the message they see based on where they've come from. It's really subtle, but a great way to greet that new visitor with something personalized that is relevant to them. And for identified users, this is a really nice example where you could provide a popover that reminds them of what they were previously looking at. So this shopper was previously browsing this cottage, and it connects up the two sessions and makes it easier for them to continue. So as for some custom triggers, wish list abandonment. Everyone uses a wish list, but lots of brands don't actually use it and make it easier for customers to see it again. It helps reduce cart abandonment rate because what's in this list is considered and favoured. And everyone has it and should be utilising it more. So if you've got a wish list, we can set up a custom trigger, or if you've got a favourites, whatever you call it, set up a custom trigger to remind people what's in your wish list. And now onto the website and how we can make, really make this up to the next notch. So this is the homepage example of tailoring every bit of content that shopper sees. So the banner is tailored based on recent viewed categories. So what is going to spark the most interest for that particular shopper? Then it's a different content based on what we know about that customer. So name personalization, weather, countdown timers, whatever's going to be most relevant to them. Then we've got some latest products, which include star ratings from ratings and review providers and clear call to actions to take them through to the PDP page. And then lastly, leveraging social media feeds. So really get people engaging with all different channels and get them talking about your brand. Killstar do this really nicely. They know that one size fits all is a thing of the past. What I particularly like about this is as you browse their website, the homepage changes based on your actions. So on the right is the default homepage, but as you browse men's products, the banners then change accordingly with the products displayed. So even without historical and purchase behavior, we can tailor the website with browsing behavior. And if you sell to different markets, the messaging could be completely different. We want to make sure that they're seeing the right message for where they are, to avoid any disgruntled customers. Country Attire use banners here based on location and local currency. So delivery details tailored to these currencies and countries ensure the most relevant information is displayed. Now, you might be thinking, how am I going to manage all this content in a concise and ordered way? For this reason, we launched experiences last year, which is a cool, exciting feature. So clients can now assign content to an experience, the position where it appears and what channel. So it's a much easier way of ordering all this content. So all the content on the right-hand side here is what a new shopper would see. So it's pretty untailored because we don't have any data on them. However, on the left-hand side is a returning shopper. So this is going to be more tailored based on their browsing and historical information to be more relevant to them. And of course, a different data capture because we already know something about the returning shopper. And then another great use case for experiences is flash sales. Instead of changing your whole website, set up and schedule when you want this content to be shown, test how it looks, switch it on when it's ready, and then also switch it off when the sale is over. Making peak times much easier and avoiding having to be up at God knows what hour and changing the website back to normal. And then lastly, testing and optimization. So throughout, I've spoken about testing and using A/B tests to test different bits of content. And it is really, really important to do this across the whole website. Because if you've got a banner, you want to make sure that that banner is actually going to be the best one to your particular shoppers. So continuously test and optimize all the content you do to make sure it is most relevant. So what is next? Some action points. So I've shared quite a few tactics today. So as for some takeaways, start with collecting and analysing your data. So learn as much as possible about your customers and start now. And Kleon will go on to talk about this in a little bit more detail. Secondly, based on your data, start personalising their experience. So don't treat everyone the same. Identify your core categories or segments and start personalising for them. And then lastly, test, be flexible, and be innovative. The tactics that maybe worked a year ago may not work anymore. Your typical customers might be different, and you need to learn about their new behaviors and preferences and tailor the experience for them. If you're feeling that you've got some unanswered questions, then please check out this ebook that covers personalization platforms and how you can make a good choice. And failing that, please do reach out to me, ask any questions. I'm happy to help. Fab. Well, that's all from me. I will pass over to Kleon to do his magic. I will stop sharing now. There we go.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Vicky. Let me just share my screen. Hopefully text on our side today. Awesome. Perfect. So what we're going to do today is I'm basically going to talk you through our experience as an agency and how we actually personalize experiences for our clients. We work with all sorts of different brands. I think the key thing that ties them all together is they're all high volume transactional retailers who essentially want to focus on the customer experience and getting as much revenue as possible from their websites. In terms of personalization, and when we're approaching experimentation and testing on the website, we use the double diamond framework, which you may be familiar with. But what we essentially want to do is want to cover off every single area. What we do when we're looking at a new website or trying to work out what type of experience to run, we usually undergo quite a bit of research because essentially this gives us all our answers. And the research phase is quite exhaustive, and we definitely recommend being as detailed going through this process. So we'll look at various touch points within the research, from analytics data, functionality and accessibility. We'll do surveys, session recording. One of the key things that separates us as an agency as well is biometrics. So we've actually got a biometrics lab in our office, but even remotely over the last sort of year or so, we've been able to do things like facial expression analysis. So we look at the different muscle movements in someone's face to understand whether or not they're enjoying an experience. And all that research and insight all combines to give us some really clear foundations for moving forward to decide, what to test or what type of experience to run on a website. After we do all that research, usually takes about 4 weeks, we've got a really clear understanding of some of the pain points or areas where people may be struggling or having difficulty on the website. So what we want to then do is start to pull together sort of different themes. And again, this is something we'd encourage. You can pull together different themes or clusters. So you may identify problems on the PDP, on the PLP, it could be within the checkout, and you want to start analyzing those based on the research. So you may see from surveys and market research that people are complaining about the basket on a mobile device, and it really helps honing in on those key areas to identify how we can help. What we do after that is sometimes you don't need to jump straight to testing or setting a personalized experience live. What you can do sometimes is create a prototype with a smaller audience. So we may then design up that new experience and then use a smaller sample of maybe 5 to 6 people in a user testing environment and take them through that experience. And if that works really well, then we can then sort of roll it out to a larger audience and bigger sample size. So what I wanted to do now was essentially take you through probably around about 8 examples of personalized experiences that we ran for our clients. It's all a mixed bag, and we've actually anonymized it as well. So we've used wireframes so we can share a little bit more data, but no doubt some people might be trying to guess as I go through some of the examples. First, I wanted to touch on this is one of my favorite personalized experiences we've actually run at the agency. It's for an outdoor furniture retail. Obviously, very seasonal business, people buying outdoor furniture traditionally when it's warmer. So what we realized with this core subgroup of customers is there's a couple of things or a couple of concerns or anxieties that they had. One of them being the uncertainty of the British weather, which I can definitely relate to being here in Manchester. And the other one was trepidation around, whether or not the product would arrive on time. So what we did with this experience is, and you can see in the example here, we actually did a lookup on users' postcodes with the Met Office weather forecast, and what we're able to do is, if temperatures were above 21 degrees within the next 5 days, we'd actually pull in that message and personalize that experience for that particular user to essentially say, warm weather's on its way. Why do you order now to make the most of it? And we'll convey, other messages around, ensuring that people would get their delivery on time. This was a really successful experience that we ran. It actually increased their user conversion rates on their site by 28%. So it's one that we're very happy with. Next example, a bit more of a simple one, this one actually, but no doubt, a challenge that we all face with Google Shopping, which is sometimes a necessary evil. Obviously great for acquisition, but traditionally within shopping, we know that, there could be a high bounce rate. So what we did in this example was we actually targeted people coming from Google Shopping with some really compelling messages and compelling offers to essentially try and get them to stay on the website and to continue their buying journey. So in this example, what we did here was you could just see in the top header, we offer people a 50% off selected products. So it's really sort of strong offer to encourage people to stay on the site. As I say, quite a simple one, but effective. It increased the user conversion rate for this particular retailer by 7%. Another interesting one. So this is a large multi-channel retailer in the UK, a furniture company. We looked at a key product category for them, which was beds and mattresses. And we saw some really interesting things in the data, going back to that first half of the diamond. There was 2 things. Firstly, 11% of people who arrive on their website were actually looking to find a nearest store. So they weren't actually looking to transact at the website at that given time. And the second thing for them was when we compared how much people were spending on store versus online, they're actually spending 79% more in store. When they actually went in, they were able to sort of sit on the beds, sample the products, and they enjoyed that experience more. So what we did for this client was we actually optimized particular pages throughout that buying journey with a little message here. So you can see it there in terms of the pop-up. So it would say for those users using geo-targeting, your nearest store is however many miles away. And we also include a link to allow them to click through and book to a personal shopping appointment, which allow them to go in store. And we know, effectively based on the data, they're likely to spend more. So that was, a really successful one. It generated 22% more personal shopping bookings for that client. Another one, basket abandonment, which I know we talked about earlier. Again, a simple but effective example. In this instance, someone had been on site, added products to basket, and when the users returned, we basically showed them what they had in their basket, and we use some different triggers as well. So you can see in this example, we use things like urgency messaging around one product left in stock, and we also show them how many people are looking at that product right now. Again, simple one, but effective. People click through and are able to continue and pick up where they left off and purchase those products. Another one, so this is a high volume gifting retailer. So they have really, really strong trading periods at some of your bigger sort of gifting times throughout the year. So Valentine's Day, Christmas, Mother's Day. What was really interesting with this one is when we looked at the user data, particularly looking at session recording, some of the live chat logs, and looking at customer surveys, we found that quite a few people were arriving on site, on the homepage, or landing on sort of PLP, and are effectively sort of getting a bit lost. They went on there, not fully sure what they were looking for, and they almost got overwhelmed. So psychology, we call it the paradox of choice. It's almost too much there, so it hinders the user from actually going through the process and making a purchase or completing what they need to do. So what we did here was we actually personalized the experience for users who we know were looking for gifts. So when they arrived on site, they saw the little banner here, which essentially said they're searching for a gift. When they clicked on that, it took them to a sort of a gifting category page, which then also asked them quite a few questions around what they were looking for. And then we were able to provide them with very personalized product recommendations off the back of that. So, a good process to take the user through. This was quite successful as well, generated a user conversion rate increase of 10.5%. Another interesting one, this for a furniture retailer. What we sort of realized from the data is, and speaking to the client, these big ticket purchases, especially if you're buying a sofa, in this example, people tend to buy a sofa probably once every 7 to 10 years. So we had to look at it from a personalization point of view. Where's the opportunity? If someone's already purchased and they're coming back on site. What we did here was we personalized some different aspects of the website. In this example, the mega menu, and also we had some banners within the PLP. And what we're able to do is almost sort of point that user in the right direction, and we showed them product recommendations to complement their previous purchase. So in this case, it was things like cushions and a throw to complement the sofa they already bought. That was really successful, and it had a 7% increase in those recommended products and non-furniture related products. Another example, this was again another interesting one. So this is an interesting high volume brand online. Not got a lot of loyalty in terms of customers looking for their website, but they sell tons and tons of different designer brands. So customers are more loyal to the designers that they want to buy. We did a lot of research, a lot of interviews, spoke to some customers, and essentially when they arrive on site, they want to find the brands they like as quickly as possible, and they want to get the good prices for those products. So what we did in this example was we just helped people get there a lot faster. So you can see on the banner, we're allowing people to shop for their favorite brand straight away. They can click through. And also in the PLP as well, we actually replaced one of the products with actually a brand category link. So people are able to click through and browse and navigate through the brands they effectively came to the site to buy. Both quite successful, generated 5% increase in sales for those particular products. And finally, another example, this was all around how we can convert cash paying customers to people signing up for credit accounts. So this is a large retailer here in the UK. And what we did was we actually personalized the experience when someone had active intent to purchase. So they previously bought from the retailer in the past. They came back onto the site, they're going through the checkout, and effectively we're trying to sort of interrupt that journey with personalized messages. And we focus on the psychological principle of attention ratio. So, you'll see it if you go on a homepage, the attention ratio is probably like, 60 to 1, because you met with all sorts of different things distracting you. You've got your homepage banner, you've got different images, different links, different types of content. What we've done here is we've really sort of isolated the core messaging that we want to convey to this user. And you can see there in terms of the examples, as they're going through the checkout, they met with different types of messaging and different triggers to effectively encourage them to sign up for a credit account. This was quite successful, and it led to a 10% increase in credit conversions for this particular user. Yeah, there's quite a few examples there. We love talking about what we do. We've got an experimentation handbook we created, which features, I guess, 5 years worth of data and insights from us running experiments and personalized experiences. And you can download that via this QR code. So I'll give you a quick moment to scan that. That also takes you through to our content section on our website. There's tons of video guides, books, and blogs on there as well to access further content. That's it. So a bit of a sort of whistle stop tour with some different experiences that we've run for clients, and I hope they've been useful.
Am I on mute?
Yes, yes, you are. Yeah.
I've just been chatting away to myself. Hello, guys. Thanks for that, Kleon. What was I even saying? I was answering one of the questions. I will do that again. So one of the questions is, what is more important, testing or personalization? Gosh, that's funny. I was literally going on then for about 3 minutes. To the person that has asked this one, what is more important, testing or personalization? You're not necessarily going to like the answer because you're going to need to do both. Because if you're personalizing content and you've got, let's say, 3 different banners, and you've got to test them against each other, because how do you know that that particular one that you've chosen is going to be the best for your shoppers? So running in conjunction tests on your personalized content is going to make it better. And likewise, testing, yeah, it goes in conjunction with each other. I don't know if you've got anything to add on that, Kleon.
Yeah, no, I basically agree. In an ideal world, you do both of them. I guess it's it's going to be different for everyone. Looking at the priorities of your website, customer pain points, and analyzing that data and seeing where to prioritize. And but yeah, I'd say in an ideal world, I agree. I think you do both.
Yeah, it is tricky, but you got to try. And then we've just had one saying, are there common instances in which you find that using personalization is not recommended? Good question. Cleon, do you want to start, or I'll go?
We got one to mind. You can start. No,
Well, yeah, I suppose if you're working with a specific customer segment that potentially only want to see some content, in a way you are personalizing because all your other customers are going to see different content. So if you do have a customer base where yeah, I don't know, you know that it's going to negatively affect them if they see particular products, then you are refining what they would see. So it's personalization, but refining to a segment. There's the only real use case I can imagine. I don't know if you've got one, Cleon.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think you have to look at the data and see if there's a big enough segment to even consider personalization in the first place. Because you may find that actually when you're looking at your segmentation, it's not a large enough sample to even go through that time in terms of building those experiences. So again, it's relating to the data, trying to understand is there a clear segment that needs some help, or they're having a bad experience currently on the website that you may want to run a personalized experience for.
I suppose another one is maybe excluding audiences. I don't know if you've got a product that you sell to, you don't want children to see some products or something like that. That's the easiest one I can think of. Then you can exclude certain segments or audiences from seeing bits of content in the case where you just wanted to make sure that you weren't showing them content that you didn't want them to see. Fab. Any more questions? Don't be shy. I can't believe I was just on mute then, chatting away to myself. I think that might be it. But yeah, thank you so much for your time today, guys. It is on demand as well if you missed any of that. yeah, check out the links in terms of finding out what we spoke about in a little bit more detail.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Fabulous. Well, everyone have a lovely day, and thank you very much for listening.
Perfect. Have a great afternoon. Take
Cheers.
care.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
guys.